So diamonds are a suit that everyone knows the meaning of. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Everyone knows that. And that's actually true from an astrological point of view. So in astrology, the sun is the male side of our psyche, and the moon is the female side of our psyche. So the moon is the most feminine, the most girl of all the planets. And in astrology, the moon gets exalted in Taurus, which is an earth sign, and it's the most fixed, stable, permanent, you can count on it, earth sign that there is. And that's where the moon likes to be. Because the moon, which is the feminine energy, wants something that it can rely on. It wants something solid. It wants something real. Okay? And so when we say diamonds are a girl's best friend, we're basically saying girls want something solid. Okay? If you look around and see, life in general you'll see more men who are into abstract things in the sense of, virtual things, getting involved in things that aren't solid. Women want something more solid, and in general. And also, oftentimes one of the problems in relationships is that men are just happy to be cruising along with this experience with the girl, but the girl wants something solid from the guy. She wants the engagement ring, she wants the house, whatever. She wants something solid. And this is just the nature of the moon, which is such a watery planet. It's a planet that can just feel in every direction, just like water can pour in every direction. The moon, the female side of our psyche, can get stimulated from all directions. And that's too much. And so it wants something to ground out against. The same way that the water needs to find a place with walls and dirt so it can collect and be useful, feminine energy kind of wants that same thing. It wants something solid that gives it a place to exist in a healthy way, to be useful, to progress, to grow, and to live a healthy life, basically. The female side of our psyches can't do that without some walls, without some boundaries, without something solid, some real, something that's known, something that's lasting. Okay, and these are all the things that diamonds are. They're the real thing. They're something that's concrete, it actually exists. It's something that has longevity to it, it lasts. Okay, just like the earth is going to be here long after the trees and the animals and the leaves on the trees are all gone, the ground is still going to be here, right? The earth element, the diamond suit, is what really started everything and what ends it all. Okay, so in lots of ways, the diamonds you can almost look as the first suit, in the sense that it all starts on the land. Okay, but we look at the spades as the first suit because we're talking about embodied life, which starts at the spades. Okay, but you always keep in mind that all that rests on the foundation of the diamonds, on the ground. So diamonds rule anything real. They rule a real experience. They rule realization as compared to theory. So somebody, reads their guru's book and they read it and they know everything, right? And they go around talking to everyone about it. But until they've realized that, they've had a personal, real experience of that, it's just information. Okay? It's nothing that, when it comes down to, is going to make the decisive influence in their lives. Okay? It's not real, it's not dependable. And while the feelings can amuse themselves and be entertained and be made to feel pepped up by ideas, basically clubs, none of those things are the feelings won't rely on that. The feelings always go back to the real experience that we had. So if you believe that, that through meditating that you can get to a point where you don't fear death, for instance, and you go, yeah, I buy that idea, I believe in that. And you tell people, oh yeah, if you meditate, you'll be totally ready to die when it's your time. You won't be scared, you won't be nervous, you won't get anxiety and all that stuff. Yet, when it's time for them to die, they freak out. Because they haven't had a realization. But if a person, because they haven't meditated enough. But if a person meditates and actually gets an experience of the divine in meditation, a concrete realization of, aha, then when it's time to die, they're prepared for it. They know there's something outside of all that. Okay? So diamonds have to do with any realization of any type, where you know something that's really true. Clubs, the suit before diamonds, are just the road. I'm excited to go on this road, to travel this trip, because I believe this is true. Now, if you stop there and you say what I believe is true, then you're an idiot and a hypocrite, okay, and a troublemaker, because what you believe is irrelevant. Clubs, when it comes down to it, are irrelevant. This is just, I believe this, I think this. This has proven to be a sound theory. Okay, it even can go that far, but none of that is useful, except it gets you going down that road to say, oh, I'll try this. I will do this. I believe this can work. But it's not until you actually get the realization, until you have the success of your belief, until the belief which puts you on a certain road pays off at the diamonds, that it's real, that it means anything, that has any value. So diamonds have to do with anything that has value. Your spiritual realization is not clubs, it's diamonds. Okay? Understanding something about your psyche is like spades, okay? But a real spiritual realization is diamonds. And you'll see, if you look at charts of spiritually realized people, you'll always see some prominent diamonds going on. In fact, traditional card reading books say psychic phenomenon is all diamonds. You're like, ooh, how can that be? That's not concrete at all. It is. It's a real experience of what's more real than the concrete. The energies, the energy, the astral plane where psychic experiences originate from is actually more real than the concrete plane. And diamonds people have the ability to have a realization of psychic energies. Okay? And that can happen in healthy and unhealthy ways, sadly. It can help in healthy ways through healthy self-development, or they can have their psyches fractured through pain and stuff and abuse. And through that, it's like the shell gets broken, and so then the energies can leak into them. And that's not necessarily healthy. Those people are usually not very emotionally together. Okay? So most people who are psychic are that type of psychic, not a psychic that it comes from self-realization, which is the healthy way. Okay, so, but either way it happens, diamonds would represent any psychic ability. Okay? Being able to predict the future is a diamond's thing. Okay? Being able to concretely say this will happen next May, and it actually happens, that's a real thing. That's a real prediction. Actually really did happen in May next year. Okay? It wasn't just a theory, oh, looking at you, you're trying to think this might happen there, and then it doesn't happen, and you say, gosh, I really thought this technique would work. Then you look at it again, and you say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll adjust this technique, and maybe next time it'll work. Okay, well, until you hit the prediction, you don't even know if it's a valid technique. It's just a theory. It's something you believe that's worth trying. So always remember that with clubs. Clubs are something that you believe are worth trying. Maybe other people have done it, it's worked for them, and you believe it's worth trying. But until you get a realization with any of that information, it's not valuable. Okay? It's not something you can rely on. It's not something you can build your life on. That happens at the diamond state. So diamonds are really the best suit in the sense of when you cast cards. Because in the end, people come because they want something real. They want a real solution to a real problem. Okay? And when diamonds come up, you've got real solutions to real problems. You got a real solution here. So if you get a 7 of diamonds, yeah, something is really gone. All right, that's a solid solution. No, you're not going to mess with this anymore. It's out of your life. End of story. That's a real solution. It's not the real solution people want, but it's a real solution. Okay? So when diamonds show up in a spread, it's always showing this is going to be obvious, it's going to be real, it's going to be concrete. You can't play around with it. With hearts, clubs, and spades, you can go, well, maybe. Okay, you can get the 7 of hearts, and you can say the person doesn't love you anymore. But then the person's still in their space, and you'll go, gosh, why are they still around me? Why do they still go, to the gym every Fridays when I happen to be there? Or why do I bump into them at the health food store if they really don't love me? But I do, so do they really not love me? And you can't be sure. But when a diamond comes up, the concrete reality is it's not happening. And in general, it's really important to understand as a life theory that we have all of our shit going on. We have all of our needs, all of our longings, which are hearts that come out of a lack of self-knowledge. Okay? We have all of our ideas, all the things we need to believe, which come out of lack of self-knowledge, you know. We have all this stuff, all these ideas and thoughts in our heads and hopes, and basically all amounts to bullshit. Okay? And if we try to live our life based on those things, we'll literally drive ourselves crazy. We literally could just drive ourselves bonkers. At the end of the day, you have to quit theorizing and quit hoping and keep this and that. Just say, okay, what's the reality of my life? You know, where do I really work? Who are the people I'm really with? You know, what am I really able to do? You know, you just get down to the reality of the situation and say, okay, this is really the experience I'm having. So why don't I just assume that this is really the experience I'm supposed to be having, because I'm on a real planet, and just learn how to be happy in this place. Okay, just learn how to be where I am. Okay, and really the secret to happiness more than anything is learning to be where we are. You know, unhappiness comes from wanting to be somewhere where we can't go, wanting something we can't have. Basically wanting something that's not our real life. Diamonds are about, this is the real thing. This is what you really have to work with. This is really where you can carve out your happiness. But we don't want to. We want to carve out our happiness on another planet, with another person, with another job, with another whole life sometimes. Well, that's not real. That's not reality. Okay? So when diamonds show up in a spread, it's like, okay, we're dealing with reality here. This is the real situation. This is what's really possible. There's always something to take advantage of in every situation. Okay? And this has been shown in extremes by these few people, like, you know, we have a history of a few people who, in very dire circumstances, you know, like being in concentration camps, become heroic, amazing people. You know, okay, the real situation is I'm in concentration camp until the war is over. All right, what am I going to do? Am I going to dream about being on the coast of, you know, France? You know, no, you're going to get real with the situation, and that's a diamond's way of doing it. And so people who've got diamonds in their spread, strong diamonds in their spread, that's what's great about them. They deal with the reality of things, you know. They're not going to drive themselves and other people crazy with things that aren't real. They're equipped to deal with the reality of things. Now, if you've got afflicted diamonds, then of course you don't want to deal with the reality of things. And the reality of things is pissing you off and you don't want to deal with it. And it's going to be harder to figure out how to, you know, polish those diamonds, let's say. Okay? The thing about diamonds is that all land has value. Every piece of land on earth has value. Okay? My example of that, my favorite example is, you know, people have that idea, this is valuable land, this is wonderful land. And then you go to a place like Saudi Arabia and it's all sand, and you're like, get me out of here, this land has no value. And that's what it was like in Saudi Arabia for years and years and years and years and years. Until, they found out they had oil reserves in that, under that sand. And all of a sudden, this land is some of the most valuable land on earth. And every bit of land is valuable. It's just a matter of finding out what the value is for. In fact, one of the problems we're having now is we've taken so much beach sand for the purpose of making glass that we literally are starting to have a shortage of sand for making glass. Well, this is a whole other opportunity for these desert places. It's not like we're going to stop using glass, right? I mean, think about it. Without glass, how would we even live anymore? You know? So everything, every part of land has value for something. And that's shown in, it doesn't matter where it is, there's always something living on that land. You go to the most severe desert, and to some creature or plant, that's valuable land. That's the land that gives it its place to live. It gives it everything it needs to live. Maybe you can't live there as a human, but something lives out there, you know? So every part of land is valuable. And what that signifies is that every reality you find yourself in has value. But are you going to find the value in it? Or are you going to find the opportunity in it? To see, how can my life live here? So whatever your concrete reality, are you going to say, hey, there's something valuable here. What are we going to find in this concrete reality? When diamonds come up in your spread, it means you're going to find value in your circumstances. If you have strong diamonds in your birth card spread, you're the kind of person that will find opportunity and value wherever you are in life. If you go into a year with great diamonds, it doesn't always mean your situation is going to change. It might just mean, wow, you find the value in your situations. Okay? So, when the end of it all, diamonds are really such a wonderful suit. So when diamonds show up in the spread, be aware there's always opportunity there. It doesn't matter what the diamond is. Even the 7 of diamonds has a valuable opportunity. But the 7 of diamonds opportunity is the one that's most often not found. It's Saudi Arabia with all the oil underneath that no one's thought of looking for, okay? But all diamonds, when they come up, there's opportunity. There's something that can grow there. There's something of value there. We also see this in like minerals. Diamonds is the mineral kingdom. There's over 7,000 minerals. And a lot of those minerals have been found to be valuable. Like gold, super valuable mineral, right? Diamonds, super valuable. Sapphires, they were valuable for their beauty and rarity. But especially as the technical age commences and advances, we find that so many substances, so many minerals have value, can be used for this industry or this industry. And there's minerals that are much more valuable than gold and diamonds because of just what they can be used for. So all minerals, every mineral out there has some value. So with that as a background, some of the practical indications of diamonds are banks, so places where the money's kept. That would also be where you store your treasure, hiding money under your bed, burying treasure in the backyard. Any place where valuables are put away and stored. All financial matters are diamonds, okay? Intelligence is a diamond, okay? Intelligence in the sense of, intelligence is a skill. Having a fast-functioning brain, having a precise brain, having a good memory. These are talents. It's a talented brain. Any kind of intelligence is going to be a diamond. Because diamonds are the resources you have, and one of the resources you have is your intelligence. All your other skills would also be a diamond thing, actually having skill. We learned a lot that hearts has a lot to do with like art. Well, there's all kinds of artists. There's artists who can create feelings, and there's artists who have skill, and there's artists who have skill and can create feelings. So it depends. Are they heartsy, diamonds, or do they have some of both, okay? But the skill of art, would be diamonds. Any skill at all. The skill to play piano, any natural talents you have would always be diamonds. Because your talents are what you can build your life with if you want to. They're a resource, okay? Jewelry has to do with diamonds. Gems, of course, has to do with diamonds. But even gold jewelry, because that's also a valuable and a crystal. As far as animals, any land-dwelling animal could be indicated by diamonds. Money, of course, is diamonds. Money, of course, is just a representation of how much value you have in the context of how much you can trade and get, okay? And really money is a measure of how much a person's done to some degree. It's not a perfect scale, but it's somewhat of a scale of what a person's done, which increases their value in society. And that's a real debatable thing, of course, but at the end of the day, the reality is, if people are willing to give somebody $50 billion, he must be giving something invaluable back. That doesn't mean the people given the money back have brains or know a good deal when they see it or are buying something that's going to save their lives. But to them, for whatever reason, it must have value, otherwise they would have never given that guy all that money, right? So our value in this world is represented by diamonds, by the money we make, okay? In the context of, what the world is willing to give us for whatever it is that we're doing, okay? Your self-worth, which also impacts that, is a diamonds thing. People of low self-worth won't allow themselves to make as much money as somebody of healthier self-worth. So money and the value attributed to it is all diamonds. All possessions are diamonds. Anything you can tangibly own is a diamond. As I mentioned, any type of psychic energy, psychic ability is a diamonds thing. although there's two diamonds that are most prominent to those, which are the 6 and 9 of diamonds. Then, and sometimes the 3 of diamonds. We'll talk about those as we get to them. Real estate is a diamond thing. Again, the land, obviously real estate. Realization, as I mentioned, any kind of realizations that you might have, whether it's spiritual, any aha moments, any realizations of how to really do something so you actually get a return, it actually works and it succeeds in the goal of what you're doing. So the realization of a goal is diamonds, okay? Recognition, so being recognized is a diamond thing, being recognized for what you're capable of, what you're doing, who you are, what you give to the world, all this stuff are diamonds. Rewards, of course, which are a recognition thing. Success is diamonds, because success is, okay, you have a concrete result. I have success or I don't, right? Validation, so things that are validating, that make us feel good about ourselves, that make us feel like we're worthy beings, are all diamonds things. And all valuables are diamonds. You know, the funny thing about valuables is what's valuable to one person is trash to another person, right? People, you know, go down to the thrift store and drop off boatloads of things that they no longer want in their house. And other people come and spend good money on them. And some people come to the thrift store, buy those things, and hawk them on eBay for 10 times what they paid for them at the thrift store. So, you know, value is in the eye of the beholder. Everything has value. It's just what value does it have? And that determines who puts value on it. Like people sculpt things out of junk. They get pieces of trash, metal pieces of trash, and make sculptures out of it. So to them, a pile of junk metal is a really valuable thing. Whereas another person is like, oh gosh, I don't even want to see that pile of junk. So at the end, everything that exists has value. Everything has value. It's just, can you see it? Well, a diamond person is most capable of seeing it. A healthy diamond person. The most ironic thing is an unhealthy diamond person is the least capable of seeing value in something outside of the value they assign to something. So diamonds can be very slow to change. They can be very fixed. Just like the land is fixed. And it doesn't move until there's a big earthquake or a huge flood. Well, diamonds people can kind of be like that. If you see people with strong diamonds, lots of diamonds in their spread, they're going to be sort of fixed. They're going to have their value system. Things are going to have a value that they're going to attribute to something. And they won't see the value in other things. And they won't see the value that something else might have. They'll say, this is the value to me. Okay? Based on my ideas, this is the value. And they can be very fixed on them and not change until they have a tidal wave or an earthquake hit their lives. So when dealing with diamonds people in your life, you know, if they're struggling and, you know, you keep seeing them do the same old forever and ever and ever, realize that it does take a tidal wave to change the land. It does take an earthquake to change the shape of the land. And that means that's what it'll take for them to change too. Okay? You know, more emotionally centered people, hearts people, all it takes for them to change is to get a strong feeling about something, to get a strong impression. They're much more changeable people. Just connecting to the right thing, connecting to something beautiful, connecting to a new person, all of a sudden they can find themselves changing. Clubs can change as quick as they get a new idea, as they see something that makes sense. Okay? Spades can change as soon as they realize something, get an aha, oh, I see this about myself now. Or as soon as they see themselves in a new light, they can change. But diamonds, they are the most fixed of all people. And that can be great. It depends what you're fixed on, right? But if you see a diamonds person where things are not working, it literally is going to take a huge flood, a huge earthquake to change that land. Okay? Until that happens, don't expect them to really do things differently or have different values. And I find lots of times people with strong diamonds, when their life's not working, because they have defined values that they're trying to operate in that don't always coincide with people around them and the real life around them. So they can almost be an island apart. And then life doesn't work for them until something, you know, brings that island closer. Okay? So those are the basic things that diamonds represent. Okay, but always remember, all diamonds represent an opportunity. There's always something to mine and get out of the ground that has value. But sometimes it's very, really hard to find it or to see it. And the reason that is because we have our fixed ideas. It's fixed ideas that get in the way of diamonds. Anytime you see a diamond in a difficult position and they're going against you, right away you know they have a fixed idea that is getting in the way. There's something that they're stuck on that is getting in the way of them moving forward, with them doing the should-do card and moving towards a better future. So I guess that's it on diamonds in general, and we'll talk more as we go to the A's. Thank you.